Printify finally did it. There is now a personalized order workflow on Printify that does not require you to actually set all of your order fulfillment to manual and submit every order. You can finally have automatic order submission turned on and actually still have your personalized orders held so that you can personalize them before you submit them. So let's take a look at this process on Printify. We'll see if there are any bugs or special things you need to be aware of. We'll submit a couple test orders and see how it works. So let's dive in. So this video that I made over 2 years ago at this point finally is no longer necessary on Printify. The video that I made, of course, the one about personalized items with Printify and Etsy, I showed the process that you needed to use because Printify did not have a dedicated personalized item workflow. Thankfully now we have a different way of doing it. So I will link to this page in the description of the video if you want to go check it out. There's a few different pages here that Printify has added to their help catalog that describes how their new personalization feature works. One thing that's important to point out here is these articles are not specific to Etsy. This feature is available for us Etsy sellers. However, it is also something that applies to selling through different sales channels on Printify. They're not only talking about Etsy here. So if you see some things in here that sound like they don't apply, it could be because this feature, they're talking about it as it applies to all sales channels, not just Etsy. Now, there's one main question that I want to try to answer here in this video, and it actually has to do with existing products versus publishing new products. We are going to take a look at how the workflow of personalizing an order works and all of that. But the main question I want to try and answer here is, with this new feature, you may already have, dozens or even hundreds of products in your Etsy shop that you have set up as a personalized product. As orders for those products come in, are they going to be recognized as personalized items and held for fulfillment? Or is it only going to apply to new products that you've published from Printify? Now, the main reason that I'm wondering that is because of a new option that appeared in Printify's publishing process in their workflow for publishing a new item to your Etsy shop. By the way, how do you like the new look of Printify's sort of rebranded navigation? You can still flip it back to the old one for, I think, a couple of months, but in a couple of months, you're only going to have this option to see this sort of new branded look. But anyway, let's just open one of my existing products here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we take a look down here below the product description and tags, we have this option here, which does have a little new tag next to it to enable personalization. There's just one little toggle button here that tells Printify this is a personalized item. Now, it doesn't have your instruction fields here that you need to use on Etsy. So you're still going to have to input those instructions for the customer on Etsy and make sure that that's set up properly on the Etsy side of things. But this is just telling Printify this is a personalized product. So the question I want to answer is, for all of your existing listings that will not have this turned on, when an order comes in, is Printify going to recognize it, or is that dependent on this tag being turned on? So that's the first thing that I want to test here. What's going to happen for an order on an existing personalized product? The only other thing I want to take a quick look at here before we test that is if you go to your store settings option on your Printify account, when you go to the order settings tab where all of our order settings are, you'll notice there is something under order approval here that specifies basically we don't need to do anything special for personalized orders. It says here, all manual, sample, bulk, and orders with personalizable products must be submitted manually regardless of the settings below. So even if we have this set to automatically in 1 hour, which is the shortest amount of time you can have, any item that comes in that's recognized as personalizable is going to sit there and wait for you to actually do the customization and submit it manually. That means that in theory, as long as we test this and it works, we no longer need to set this to manual for all orders because it's going to recognize these personalized items separately. Mine was set to automatic in 24 hours, so I'm going to put it back to that. And then let's go test this out. For example, here is a sample of a personalized design that I already had in my POD Insights shop here. It's a t-shirt for a family vacation ski trip where you can customize, the family name as well as the year and the location. So I already had this in my shop with the personalization turned on. Here are the settings. So personalization is enabled and my instructions for the buyers, that was already in there along with the character limit. The personalization is only set up on the Etsy side of things. So let's go ahead and place an order for one of these t-shirts and see if Printify recognizes that it's a personalized item. Okay, so I placed a test order here. Here's the order record. You can see that the personalization came in for that family ski vacation shirt is Davis Family, Park City in 2025. So that's the personalization that I need to apply to that design. Let's go and see how this order came through on Printify. Remember, according to Printify's help guide here, we should not see the usual status, which is just on hold. It sits there in on hold until it will automatically get submitted to production if it's a non-personalized product. The way this one should come through is in the status review needed. That's what it's supposed to show now when it recognizes a personalized product. All right, so our order came in here and we have a little bit of an issue because as you can see, it is in the usual on hold status. It is not showing in the review needed status. If we let's open the order itself and just see. So in the order record itself, there is no evidence that this is a personalized item. We've got our package insert down here, but there's nothing indicating that this is review needed or that Printify recognized that this is a personalized item. So that means we have an issue here for anybody who wants to use this new feature and has a whole bunch of existing personalized items in their Etsy shop. Now, the article that I would think would call this out would be the how can I set up a personalizable product? I don't see anything in here that talks about, requirements for existing listings or anything like that. This is all about setting up a new product. So I will send a message to Printify support and ask if they are planning on any future enhancements to catch existing products so that we don't have to do manual work. If I get a response, I will post it in a comment under this video. But for now, I can only assume that what we have to do for existing products is come to our My Products page in our Printify account and go through and enable that personalization for all of the existing products where it applies. Unfortunately, right now, when you use the checkboxes to select multiple products, I don't see an option here to go ahead and enable personalization for multiple products. However, it is in the little 3-dot menu over to the right. You can see enable personalization is an option there, which brings up this little pop-up. You can hit this and click on save. And now that should be recognized as a personalizable product. You can see it actually gets a little tag here on the display of the product. So unfortunately for now, it seems like that is what we will have to do for any existing personalizable products we have in our Etsy shop. We'd have to go make sure that Printify recognizes them as personalizable so that the order comes through and doesn't get submitted to production automatically. So what does the workflow look like, assuming you have actually done this for your existing or for new product listings and you get an order that now needs to be personalized? Let's test that out. All right, so as you can see here, I have updated my existing family ski trip listing. Now it's showing as personalizable here. I did not actually publish any updates to Etsy. I just changed that setting and saved it on Printify, only because I didn't want to accidentally change the listing on Etsy. So let's see if this actually works. We're gonna place another order and see if it's recognized as personalizable. All right, so here's the second order. I placed an order for the same product, different color. I did just so we can make sure that we can tell the difference between the orders. But now that it is actually tagged on Printify as a personalized item, let's see how that came through. All right, here we go. We can see that it came through in the review needed status, not the on hold status, and it is tagged here as being a personalized order. So that means it is going to be held even though we have our order submission set to automatic. And this also confirms that in order for this to work properly, if you have existing listings in your Printify account that were not previously tagged on Printify as personalized, you would have to go through your existing products and actually enable that personalization feature. So now that we've confirmed that, let's take a look at this actual workflow for how to personalize this order or the design for this order. So when we open up the order, it looks like this. We now have this green review button here under the personalization section. It does not actually pull through the customer's requested personalization here. Notice nowhere on the screen do you see what actually was submitted by the customer in terms of their request. So at least for the time being, unless if Printify, adds that at some point down the road, for now, you need to make sure that if you're an Etsy seller like I am and like we talk about on this channel, you need to make sure you're getting that personalization from the order record on Etsy. And this one, remember, was Davis Family, Park City 2025. So I have to get that personalization information off of the order on Etsy. Now I can come over to my order and actually click on review. So let's see where that takes us. We click on review and it opens up this specialized view of the design editor. And you notice there's a banner on the top of the screen that says personalizations apply to this order only. And then it disappeared while I was talking. So basically it's telling us we are not editing the design on the actual print file for the main listing. This customization is only going to apply to this order. And that's exactly what we need, because remember, the old process was to duplicate the listing, save it as a draft, customize it, and then swap it out on the order. We don't have to do that anymore because we're doing it here in this workflow. Now this design I created with text layers so that we don't have to actually go in and replace any print files. I can edit it right here on Printify. There we go. So I'm happy with that customization. That's what the customer requested. Now in the bottom right corner, we can click on Approve Personalization, or we can go up to the preview view in the top right corner and actually see the mock-up preview of our personalized design. But let's just go ahead and click on Approve Personalization. And that is going to take me back to my order record here. And as you can see, even though the preview I was looking at there was showing the white t-shirt option, it does have the correct variant here. That was a black medium for this order. And if we click on the little preview of the item, it does reflect my personalization that I made for this particular order. And we can come up to the top right corner and click on the submit button, and we're done. So that's the process. The workflow is very simple and straightforward, but only if the product on Printify in your Printify account is flagged or tagged as a personalized item. If it's not, we're gonna have an issue because Printify won't recognize it as a personalized item. So that's the only catch with this so far. That is a bit of a downside if you're an existing seller with a lot of personalized items on Etsy, and you have to go back and turn that feature on all of those listings on Printify. Like I said, I am going to submit a question to Printify support to ask if they're gonna add any additional enhancements to make it easier for us. Even, for example, the ability to select multiple products here and then turn on customization or personalization. That would make the process of updating your listings a lot simpler as well. So I will ask, and I'll post a comment below the video with the response that I get. So that's the whole process, but before we leave this video, I do want to point one other thing. Check this page out on Printify support pages if you use any third-party personalization services. So there is a page here you can get to easily from the link that's in the description of this video that talks about third-party tools supported by Printify. So it covers Hello Custom for Etsy. It covers Customly, which works with Shopify, WooCommerce, Etsy, and BigCommerce. So if you use one of these third-party ones, there's also Anywhere POD. If you use one of these third-party customization options, then check out this page because it gives you some information and links to resources talking about how to integrate it with Printify. We're not going to go into that in this video. I just wanted to point out that they do have an additional page here for anybody that uses one of these third-party customization services. So that'll do it for this video. Let me know what you think of this new feature, and don't forget to subscribe to the POD Insights channel if you have. Thank you so much. I do appreciate your support. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.